Amigas, amigos, hoy día estamos haciendo una entrevista especial, una entrevista internacional con la compañera Pregny de Francia. Espero haberlo pronunciado razonablemente bien su nombre. Ella es una militante de la gauche révolutionnaire, la izquierda revolucionaria francesa. Ellos trabajan habitualmente con los otros compañeros de la France Insoumise. Y lógicamente vamos a preguntar qué está pasando en Francia después de la derrota tanto del presidente Macron y su fuerza política teóricamente de centro, en realidad de derecha, y también la derrota de la extrema derecha y el triunfo del nuevo Frente Popular y en primer lugar de la formación de la Francia insurrecta, la Francia insoumise, o la Francia no sometida. Entonces, sin más, nuestro director, don Willy Zavala, va a dar paso a nuestra tradicional cortina musical.
Debout les damnés de la terre, debout les forçats de la faim, la raison dans son cratère, c'est l'éruption de la faim. Du passé, faisons table rase, sous l'esclave, debout, debout.
Virginie, welcome to our program. We have here a daily paper. It's called Werken Rojo. That means Werken in the Mapuche language is the representative of the community, the one that speaks for the community. And Rojo is rouge.
Okay.
It's Spanish.
Bonjour. Hello.
Hello.
Hola.
Well, we listen you very well now. That's good.
Okay, great.
Tell us what happened in the last French elections, because here all the press was saying that the far right was arriving to government, and it didn't happen, it seems. It's not clear.
Okay. So I try to make it clear because obviously the political systems are very different. So in France, we have a president and a parliament. The president is elected every 5 years directly by the people who cannot. And the president then has to choose among the majority at the parliament who will be the prime minister. So the last presidential election was in 2022, and Emmanuel Macron was elected in second round because there are 2 rounds of elections. So he was competing against Marine Le Pen, who is the far right candidate, and he won for that. After that, he had the majority. His party had the majority in the parliament, but he had a very weak majority, and he ruled very violently. There were a lot of, a tense class struggle over all the reforms, the attacks, the anti-workers attacks that he did. So there were a lot of strikes, a lot of struggles, and his government was very weak. In June, there was also the European election. So this election is only 1 round throughout Europe. And then the far right, Marine Le Pen, the Rassemblement National, National, whatever you call it, National Front, was arrived first. Okay, so they got a third of the votes, and the left was second, and Macron's party arrived third. So it was really a big blow, electoral blow against the majority of Macron. So he decided to dissolve the assembly because in France, the president has this power. He can decide to dissolve the parliament and call for early elections. So that's what he did. He called for early general elections. But that was in a very short time. We had just 3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks between the moment when he decided to dissolve the assembly and the first round of the election. Then, obviously, because the far right was the first party in the European elections, everybody thought that they would be the winners. So what the left did is that they came together. So we had Social Democrats, Parti Socialiste, the Communist Party, the Greens, and France Insoumise. So they came together and they built an electoral front, an electoral coalition that they called New Popular Front. So the New Popular Front is this left electoral coalition, and against all odds, all the surveys that the left will not win, and eventually they won. And Macron got second with his party, and the far right got third. But the number of seats for each part is not very, nobody really has a clear majority. So the left got 190 votes, 90 seats, sorry, 190 seats. Macron's party has 150, and the far right, they got 130. So the situation is extremely unstable because Macron is saying that nobody has won, and he doesn't want to choose a prime minister among the left. Normally, what should happen is that the president should choose the prime minister among the group which has a majority.
Okay,
but the majority is not his party. The majority is the left. So he would be forced to, to make his policy with find an alliance with the left. Obviously, he doesn't want. So is delaying, and for the moment, we still don't have a prime minister. We just know that the left was first in the election, and the president doesn't want to have a left prime minister, and the situation for the moment is blocked.
Okay. How would you explain this big turn between the first and the second turn of the election in first place? And what do you think the left, especially the real left, the France Insoumise, should do?
Okay, so the thing is that people voted in majority against the president, against Macron. And the votes of the worker class and the youth were divided between the left and the far right. Those who voted for Macron are the older people, the richest people. Okay, so we really have a picture of the class struggle in the result of the election now. The problem is that the left has disappointed and has betrayed the working class so many times before, with the Social Democrats in power and the Communist Party supporting them, that part of the working class now is voting for the far right. And that's the biggest problem that we have, because we know who the bourgeoisie is, know where the capitalists are, and we know that Macron defends these people, support these people. The problem is that now he's succeeded in dividing the working class even further. What the France Insoumise should do now, it should to call for a real party of the working class. That's what we're seeing now, because the electoral coalition of the left is just electoral front. That's the problem we have, is that it is an electoral front, but 2/3 of this electoral front doesn't want the working class, doesn't want to have a workers' governance. Okay, what they want to do is a classic social democrat policy. And we know that if people come to power, really, they won't make a policy for the working class. They will make what they did before. They'll try to safeguard the interest of the capitalist and give a few crumbs to the workers. So we think that really the France Insoumise should keep strong with this policy for the working class. They shouldn't submit to the Social Democrats, and they should keep independent voice for the workers. So that's why we're saying, and we're calling the France Insoumise to call for a real work party, to call for the people who mobilized during these 3 weeks against the racist party, to come and build this party together, come and build a workers' alternative, come and discuss about what is the alternative to capitalism, come and discuss about how can we defeat Macron and the far right all together. And that's what we're calling for now.
Okay, question to our viewers to understand it better. You told us that you're calling to the build of a new workers' party. I read that in the last month before the election, 100,000 people enter La France Insoumise. But La France Insoumise is not a party, it's just a movement. Can you explain it?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really the weakness, the huge weakness of France Insoumise. There are a lot of strong points, but this is really their weakness, is that it's not a party. It doesn't have the structures of a party. It's launched as a large movement. Hitler, Mélenchon called it gases in the form of gas, like a cloud. And it was voluntary on their part to have this movement, which is not a party, because they said that people don't want parties anymore because they're afraid of parties, etc. And so they use that excuse to say, okay, we're not forming a party, we're just forming a movement, and everybody can come and go as they please. So there is a sort of flexibility that can attract people, that's for sure. But at the same time, it weakens the party because there is no democratic structure in it, which is a huge weakness that have a movement which is not democratic, because people are elected they are making decisions in the name of the movement, in the names of people. There are meetings, weekly meetings in many cities of people who are leafleting, canvassing, being active in the name of the France Insoumise. But these people, the rank and file, they have no real means of influencing what is decided, what decisions are made, and that's a huge problem. So that's why we in Gauche Revolutionnaire, we have stayed independent. We are still our party, but we are participating in the France Insoumise in order to discuss, to engage in discussions with the rank and file, to engage in discussions about Marxist programs, and to make propositions to help build this movement, and to discuss the main idea. It should be the working class, and it has to get more organized, more democratic, and that it will become a part. We've been arguing for that since it was launched 2019, and now we think is really the time to do it. Otherwise, there is a huge risk that it will be defeated, even though 100,000 people has joined it. Because if you don't organize these 100,000 people, they will go away. I mean, they come and they will go after if nothing serious is proposed. The first thing, and the second thing, which is even more important, is that now the France Insoumise is the main target of all the political class. Every one of them, they're saying they're trying to have alliances between themselves against France Insoumise. Everybody is saying, you do whatever you want, except with the France Insoumise. Okay, so from far right to the Social Democrats, they are all attacking the France Insoumise. They know the potential that is behind. There is a radical potential within the France Insoumise, and they want to exclude the France Insoumise in a way to weaken it. So that's why it is the time for France Insoumise to really launch a broad working class and unit party.
Okay, what do you think it will be the immediate future? I understand that any government will be a very unstable one, but what is Macron trying to do?
I think that's a $1 million question. I don't think even his closest friend really know what he has in mind. One thing is for sure, is that his decision to dissolve the assembly was really meant against the left. Whatever you may read in the bourgeois press, what we see here is that his main target has been the left for many months now. Okay, he's been attacking the left much more than the far right, which already had a few seats in the assembly. Okay, so that's the thing. When during the election, he kept attacking the France Insoumise more than the far right again. And now he's saying that the France Insoumise is not Republican, that they don't abide with value of the French Republic, blah, blah, blah. He's saying they're secessionists, or I mean, a lot of nonsense. So he's really attacking them, saying they're anti-Semitic, that they will be dangerous for the country, that they are violent. So really using a lot of populist right populist attacks against France Insoumise. So I think really what he wants to do is to break the left, break the coalition, and try and get the less radicals from the left with him, saying, okay, he's trying to make people afraid of the France Insoumise, saying that if the France Insoumise is in the government, there will be a lot of strikes and instability because of strikes and social movements and people all over the place and disorder and things. So it's really to frighten people with the risk of disorder with the left. And I think that plan actually is to really try to isolate the most radical fringes of the people, because it knows that there is a politicization among youth and working class. People are getting more politicized and more radical, and that the far right is not a threat to the capitalist system, but politicized working class and youth, which would be organized in a party, that would be a huge threat to the capitalist system. So he knows where his interests are, and his interests are in safeguarding the capitalist system, even though it meant, in the end, striking a deal with the far right. I think he's ready to do that because they already did some. They had some deals. They struck some deals with the far right during the previous parliamentary session. So some media have disclosed that there had been dinners between private dinners, secret dinners between Macron's friends and the far right, and they're saying, "Oh no, we just discuss something to see if have some." Because we want to get to know each other. That's what they say. We met the far right because we want to get to know each other, which is just like incredible bullshit. So we know that they'd rather have a deal with the far right than with the left. So it's really trying with the left. I think that's what's in his mind.
Okay. You know, what's happening in France usually have a lot influence, with cultural and political influence in Latin America, and of course here in Chile. So we are very interested of what was going. We were depressed thinking that the populist neo-fascists were going to government, and we're very pleasant that at least they didn't win the election. So thanks very much for this interview. We now need to translate it into Spanish with subtitles. So, but as soon as it will be prepared, I'll send you a copy.
Thank you very much. I hope it was useful.
Y ahora que nos hemos despedido, le pido a nuestro director, don Willy Zavala, la tradicional cortina de final. Y recuerden suscribirse al canal de nuestro diario digital Werken Rojo, que se llama América Libre de Todo Un Poco. Gracias por habernos escuchado hasta el final.